Welcome back. Today's Swiss Army knife will be the Champion by Victorinox. So a little history on the Victorinox Champion. It was introduced in 1952 as the flagship model of the Victorinox 91mm line, and it served in that position from 1952 until 1986 with the introduction of the SwissChamp. Being the top of the line model for many years, the SwissChamp evolved as the next generation of tools were manufactured. The original 6-layer tool, like what you see here, included a long nail file on the back, and the 6 layers are referred to as the Champion A and the Champion B respectively. The most significant change to the Champion occurred in 1973 with the introduction of a new 7th layer consisting of the inline Phillips and the magnifying glass. Additionally, the scissors changed to pivot from the tail end of the knife, and the long nail file was dropped. The 6-layer model evolved into what we know as the Craftsman and Handyman models today. And the 7-layer Champion continued until approximately 2017, and the tools evolved during that same time frame as with other tools. However, the Champion never regained its prominence as the top of the line tool due to its successor, the SwissChamp. So what we have here, we're going to call a 1964 to 1968 SwissChamp by Victorinox. So we still have a 91mm knife if we don't include the bell. With the bell, it's about 98mm. We're right at about 1 inch tall, and being 6 layers, it's roughly about 15/16 of an inch wide with the scale. Now the Champion was available at the time with either the Phillips or the corkscrew. Most of the Victorinox line, that would distinguish different models, but for the Champion it was what you got. So on the back here you have a square Phillips with a file with no can key, and this style of Phillips screwdriver on the back ran from 1951 to approximately 1972. Then you have your 1961 style reamer awl with the sharpened edge, but no sewing eye. So this style ran from 1961 until about 1985. Now in 1942 they introduced the long nail file on the back, and this has been found on models up to about 2000. I think they had a couple of heritage editions or what have you that had the long nail file. And it does have like a little nail cleaner here, and then the file runs along this part. And having the bell, that makes it the pre-68 model. On your opening layer, you have your standard can opener. This style came about in 1951 and ran until about 1980. The only significant change was that they dropped the Swiss pat. You have your cap lifter with the wire bender, and it also has the wire stripper. And this style also came about in 1951, and the wire stripper ran until about 1980. The next layer on the knife will be the wood saw, and this does not have the nail nick. You have the older style of a file. This is known as a pre-1975 file. And where we're getting our 1964 date from is, in my reading, my research, I understand that the fish scaler prior to 1964 didn't have a bevel, and this one has double bevel on it. No scale, but double bevel. Our scissors are of the pre-1975 variety. have the screw and the single band spring. And they also have kind of the tapered handles. No spring guiding groove. Have our standard main blade. And for Tang stamps, we have Victorinox Switzerland stainless Rossfry. And on the back you have the Victoria Officer Suisse or Seuss with the bow and arrow. And that style of Tang stamp ran from 1957 until late 1973. You have the pre-1973 clip point blade. And for scale tools, we have the standard toothpick, and the pre-1978 tweezers with the aluminum tip. Alrighty. Appreciate your time. Stay tuned. Be nice to one another.